All right. Good morning. Welcome to one and all. Let's find a few more windows. All right. I don't think I saw this during the last stream. I don't know if it was during the stream or just after, but and I don't know if this person will see it, but in any case, over on Twitch, thanks to That Onion for the follow. Looks like we got a new follow from That Onion last week. Either during the stream or shortly after it ended or something. So let's see. Let me move OBS here, and then we will get this show on the road. I'll probably have to take my hoodie off at some point. But we'll cross that bridge when we get to it. So welcome, first of all. Is this frozen? I mean, yes, but only on this page, so probably not anywhere else. Okay, that looks like it's unfrozen now. All right, so first of all, welcome. Thanks for tuning in. If you are new, my name is Tim. I go by Foamy Guy on GitHub and Discord, and I stream typically around this time every week, 10 a.m. Central Time on Saturdays, and I am usually working on some stuff related to CircuitPython. If you are, in fact, new and don't know what CircuitPython is, you can learn more at the main website here, circuitpython.org. This is basically a version of Python that runs on tiny computers called microcontrollers. The most typical way that it works is you would plug these devices in to your computer with a USB cable, and then when you plug them in, they'll show up like a little thumb drive, just like any other thumb drive that you would plug in, and you can open that up, and on there will be a file, or a number of files, in fact, but a specific file, code.py. If you open that one up and edit it with whatever text editor you want, you can put some Python code inside of that file, and then when you save it, the actual microcontroller, the actual computer inside of these little devices will notice that you made that change, and it will execute the new version of the Python code inside of there. So your Python code can then interface with whatever hardware is connected to the microcontroller. Oftentimes, the microcontrollers are very generic. They just have lots of pins, so you can connect whatever you want to them, but there are some others that are a bit more purpose-built, like this one doesn't have nearly as many I/O pins, but instead it's got a bunch of little, cherry-compatible key mounting plugs or whatever. That's not the right term, I'm sure, but I don't know it. Yeah, you'll have to forgive me for now, but you can stick your cherry-compatible keys on there. It's also got a screen, it's got a knob, and it's kind of a purpose-built little macropad device. This PyPortal one is a bit like a little tablet. It's got a touch overlay, and a reasonably large screen. Well, that's interesting. That one's got a bit less stuff on it. Okay, I was looking at some of these smaller boards earlier. Anyway, let's not get too far off the path. So yeah, that's the high level look at microcontrollers, and CircuitPython is one way that you can program your microcontroller if it's one of the 544 that are listed on this page that do support CircuitPython. So that is kind of the overarching project that I typically work on stuff related to. Diving in a bit more specifically this week, I am in the world of Adabot, which is actually a thing that does not run on the microcontrollers themselves. This is a thing that runs on computers, regular computers in CPython or normal Python, so to speak. And this is usually run inside of GitHub Actions in order to take care of various bits of stuff around the CircuitPython ecosystem. Updating libraries, updating bundles, things of that nature, releasing libraries. There's a bunch of tools that Adabot can take care of for us. It's like an automation utility. And in particular, even more particular, what we're looking at inside of Adabot is the ability to build bundles, or I should say actually the ability to update bundles. So inside of Adabot, there is CircuitPython bundle, which will update it will update a specific bundle, I believe. Bundle dir. Yeah, I think, well, no, actually that's going to go and do all the ones in here. Okay, so it does the community bundle and the main bundle. And what it's going to do is actually update them. So like go and fetch any new stuff that has been released into any of the libraries in the bundle. And then if anything was updated, it will go and make commit and push and then make a new release as well. I'm not 100% sure why we make a release, because like the logic here says updates and release required equals we call update bundle, and then presumably if that's true we're going to go and commit and push, but then whether or not that was true we're going to go and make a release. But that's strange to me because I don't, like, if release is not required, why would we make a release? And I think, in fact, it doesn't. But I think it's just worded a bit strangely in there. Yeah, well, this is 9 hours ago, but there was a change. Yeah, see, so there was there was 4 days or 3 days or whatever in between those, and another 4 or 5 days in between that one and the one before. A couple days there. So it's definitely, and this runs every day. So this runs from cron tasks. I'm on a branch with some changes to it, but this bit down here is more or less how it is in main. And it runs... where's the cron part of this? There it is. So on schedule, it doesn't have a trigger like on push or on release or anything like that, but instead it's on schedule cron, and it runs, I think that's once a day at 0500, probably UTC time, but I also don't know for sure. It might be something slightly different, but that's the idea. So it runs once a day. So if it were actually releasing, then we'd see more releases there. So failed to update and release. I guess it must fail then, or I don't know. But yeah, that part's weird to me. And so this is the area of the code we're interested in, and most specifically what we want to try to do is right here, after we update, before we do any of this, really what we want to do is test bundle build and stop if it does not succeed. Because basically right now there's no logic here that ensures it will build. It goes and updates, and then it might get a new version of a library which actually prevents the building from succeeding. But right now there's no step in between here, and so it will just continue on and try to do the rest of this stuff. Something ends up raising an exception, which then causes the action task to fail, which then causes the bundle to not get released. What we want to do, though, is kind of test it out here first, and then only try and do this stuff below if it's successful. And I think no, we're not on there. 378. So I think, honestly, first thing we might want to do is just go back to main and update. And then go back to here. I don't know if this is going to work or not. Let me do a test one. Make a new branch with merge, and then I'm going to test what happens if I merge main. Does it just work fine, or? Yeah. That would bring in all the stuff from main, but then we would still want to go and remove this stuff. So we would also want to go, like, compare. Wish I could do this one, though. So I had initially implemented this in the actions, but we do actually want to get rid of that and do it in the Python here. Okay. I'll just commit. We don't really need to push it yet. Although, did it say there was some? Yeah, there were some other commits, which I guess won't matter because we've gone and changed them anyway at this point. So this one will, because we are gonna want to use CircuitPython build tools. So, oops, I just realized as I covered up just one of the chats there. Okay, so one of the, not quite problems, but one of the challenges I guess we have here is CircuitPython build tools is a command line tool. Typically you would run it from the command line, pretty much how this actions task did, so I could show you that here. Typically you would run it like this from a terminal, but we don't really want to do that anymore because we want to do it from Python code. We could do like os.system or whatever. That's not really what we want to do either, because we also want to like catch the exception that comes from it when it fails. And I'm not 100% sure how to do this off the top of my head. So I think what I'm going to do to start with is actually just make a temp thing here. Temp bundle build test. And then we can see like, we don't, so I'm just going to delete this after. We're not going to add it. And I think, so it's a click thing. I think we should be able to just import this function. So from CircuitPython build tools, scripts, build bundles, we want to import build bundles. So from, okay, so there's the first problem already is, I actually have that. Python build tools. So how are we going to import that? I think just import it. We can steal the import line from somewhere else. So this might be relative. No, it doesn't import it anyway. Tests? Are there tests? No, no tests. Python build tools scripts. I mean, that should be, assume that's like what we want, I think. Scripts dot, build bundles and then import build bundles. Build bundles, import build bundles. And this is red. Adabot, I would assume we have CircuitPython build tools installed. Requirements. Yep. Oh, okay, we didn't. So that's hopefully then why that was not working. Yeah, in fact, there we go. Okay, so now we have this function. So then the next thing I don't know though is normally when you call this, there's a bunch of click stuff that's like making it have all of its arguments. I don't know. So we're just importing this function. I guess we get the decorators. I don't know if the decorators work for us though, since we're not in click, right? We're calling it just directly. So I'm gonna try just doing file name, prefix, library location, library depth. So I'm gonna try just passing those three, which we can do by name, maybe? I don't actually have any of that. I don't know. I think we might need to pass all of these because they don't have defaults, but maybe this gives them defaults somehow. File name, prefix. What else was there? State fruit bundle, library location, and library depth. Library location, library depth 2. Libraries. We're gonna probably change that in a minute. Test bundle build or whatever. Test data fruit bundle. I don't think this matters too much if we're not building real bundles, right? This bundle, we're going to build it. If it succeeds, it's going to just get thrown away. How's it going, Tithe, over on Twitch? And Snaky Maker Cat on Discord. Hey, thanks also, by the way, for all of the display.io examples you've been doing. That's super cool. Build bundles. So this is pointing at libraries, which we don't have here. I need to point that somewhere else. I'm also going to go test community bundle for now. And then I guess we maybe just open a new one of these. Let's cat for a little bit here. Bit harder to task with. Getting closer. Like slingshot back at me. Hold on. That for a minute. So ls up. I think there should be the community bundle. The libraries. I think that's what we want here. And let's see if that runs. I guess it would make a build just right here in the default. Well, I mean, truthfully, I think it's not going to work. But if it does work, it's going to make it inside of a folder called bundles. So it'll just create that presumably right next to this file. Got an unexpected keyword argument. Okay. Yeah, so I don't think we're allowed to do that way. So we gotta go and actually give each of these in order, which is file name prefix, then output directory, then library location. Let's maybe do some new line action here. Okay, that was down instead of over. Here we go. Library depth. Okay, so that's good so far. Package folder prefix. Pick the default. I don't know if that's what we'll want. Because we are building the community bundle. Oh. No, I don't think that's actually right, is it? I don't know. These extra little labels are kind of throwing off my sense of whether or not this is actually aligned. Remote name, I have no idea what that is. Origin, okay. Oh, okay, so the remote of the repo then. Oh yeah, we can't do that. Just origin. That's probably not going to be true on mine. We'll see though. Ignore. Doesn't have a default. Multiple. So I think we could use an empty list maybe? And only... I don't know. Let's try without those and see what happens. Six from 1 to 6. Yeah, because it's calling into main. It's calling into this click thing. Okay, can we... Is there like call click command programmatically in Python? Or maybe let's put Python at the beginning. Python. Is that a thing that can happen? Call click command from code. Tried with 3.7. The app calls are working fine. Huh. Interesting. Okay, so if we pass it a list... we can basically just give it command line options and standalone mode false. This is in the same file, so hopefully I'm going to keep this in case we want it a bit more later. I'll start a new one. So build bundles, and then we give it a list. And I mean, that looks like command line arguments, so we can basically go back to... these. That's interesting. I don't know how this could be actually working. I guess does it declare another function that accepts a list as the beginning? And then what? Standalone mode? Yeah. Been reorganizing my electronics, just made display IOPR for all the sensors I found. Nice. Yeah, I appreciate it. Mode false. Okay, let's see if that does anything. No such option, library, location, libraries. Oop. Maybe we can do like a new line for each actual different argument. Okay, that went way back there for some reason. It's like slightly easier to read, maybe. Oops. No such file or directory. Okay. Yeah, libraries, because that doesn't exist. We know that. That doesn't work when it's commented. Doesn't seem like it's respecting the dots. Oh. Is it? I don't know. If we add another one, does this change? So this says Adabot and then community bundle, which is definitely wrong. It needs to go up and outside of Adabot. Oh, yeah, because we have the repo and then we have the package. Okay, yeah, so we definitely need two of those. Nice. Okay. Yeah, let's Let me upvote this person, but I'm not logged in. Means we need to take a very slight detour. Thank you, Massimo and Jack. Does it show here? It does. Look at that. Okay, so warning, some failures above. Okay, so now the next thing is how do we like catch that programmatically? Let's go see if we can find where it came from. Git grep warning. Okay, dash n. Go 7 build bundles warning. If not success, system exit 2. Okay, that seems promising. System exit 2. But I mean, that's actually probably not as promising as it sounds, right? Because that's for that's only really if we called it from command line, I think. Python catch sys exit value, maybe? Is there a way to prevent catch sys exit value? Okay, let's start with what is sys.exit. I don't know why the rest of these don't link. Unlike quit exit, sysexit is considered as exit commands in Python. If good to be, unlike quit and exit, sysexit is considered as exit commands in Python if good to be used in production code where the sys module is always available. Okay, that sounds a bit like it might have been written by an LLM that doesn't quite gonna get edited necessarily. The optional argument arg can be an integer. 0 is successful. But I don't know if we can catch this from a function call. Maybe Python catch exit, catch sys exit code from function call. Nested function? That sounds promising. Function that uses sysexit except, but it didn't raise an exception. I mean, we can try, but I don't feel like it raised. So if this was try, and then catch, which is not called catch in this language, except I've been doing a lot of Java. What are we? Exit error? Exit exception? What was it? System exit. SEX. Oh, what a weird exception. I guess it gets caught by something else. Interesting. Okay. Okay. So then is that the only thing that uses 2? Yes. Is that the only thing that calls exit? Indeed it is. Okay. I guess we should do it this way. Because 0 is meant to be success. Theoretically, there could be other failure modes at some point. It would be a shame to, like, hard code this to 2 and then someday it breaks because we add a 3 or a 1 or a 4 or whatever. So let's say if it's not 0, then we know we failed. Print build errors. Yeah, and then I believe the reason for the errors, in my case, I kind of like staged a broken thing here, basically. What is that thing called, though? Piper, yes. Yeah. So the fact that there's 2 of these here is what is breaking it, I think. If I cut this one and put it somewhere else temporarily, like have a super convenient place, truthfully. Let's open up device workspace also. Just dump it in there for now. It's not that important. We could find it elsewhere, but luckily I don't really want to refactor. I just want to paste. Oops. Okay. So that's down to 1, so I believe this one should be able to succeed now. I can get back to the right window to run it. Huh. Such file readme. I feel like we got further because after generating versions is where it printed the error, and I don't think we ever saw zipping. But here's what it's building. I know what that's about. Empty archive. So it did not succeed. It created a zip, and it's 55 bytes, but it doesn't really have anything in it. Doesn't seem like. I don't know where it's looking for the README. I mean, there's a README here. There's a README here. Wait, is it README text or MD? README text. See if we can follow it, I guess. Libs. Source. So this is. So that's a little weird. Zip name. It's like it's. Window right. Source file. Any. Zip name. Top folder. README. Guess that's just the name inside of the zip. I think this expects to be run in here, like in the bundle. So let me take this temp thing and let's actually go over to the community bundle. Let's paste that in there. I'm gonna delete all of these just so we're working with a clean slate, and then yeah, so libraries is here now. I think we paste that. It might be good ultimately to use library's location to then discern the README location. Because it seems like library location is an argument you can pass in, but then README location is hard-coded to just readme.txt, which makes it only work if you're in that directory anyway. And if you are in that directory anyway, you don't really need to pass in libraries, because libraries will always be the name of that folder that contains the libraries in any of the bundles that are based on the Adafruit ones. So do we need... I think we need the slash probably. Yeah, there we go. Oh, I saw some red. No such remote origin. Using legacy auto detection. It's exit code 0 though. So it succeeded. As far as I can tell. It made all of these. And then these are the final zips. And then just to verify, if we were to go back and paste that extra file again, it would then go back to not working. And this is kind of simulation for any reason the build fails. This is a reason I happen to know causes it to fail. Let me delete those again. And run it from the command line. I just did this. Okay, perfect. That's what we want. All right, so what's next? So we will be back into here. So I almost think it probably makes the most sense to do like what? I think maybe just raising a runtime error probably makes the most sense. So if we were to raise runtime and just say build test build of bundle failed. And then in here, that's going to be this. But well, no, it's not going to be this. It's going to be test bundle build bundledir. I don't think we need to pass anything else in. Where are these coming from? Is this in this file? Yeah. I don't know that it really matters too much where I put this. Test bundle build bundledir. Import that. Make sure it did it correctly. Yep. I'm just gonna say test build bundle, because now it's whichever one gets passed in. Although we would certainly want to like so this is where it's going to be a little bit tricky because I don't think I can just run this very easily. But this is not going to just be libraries. It needs to be inside of the bundledir. Where does this get called from? Bundledir. So that joins the bundlesdir and the specific bundle we're on, which was just those. So then we have that problem with the readmes again, though, don't we? Because we're not like CD'd inside of there. We almost need to like make sure that we CD into the bundledir, and then I guess libraries could just stay. Like that could stay, but before we call this, we need to like get the Python context to CD into here. Context lib change dir. Okay. So in order to test this, how can we do that? So I'm gonna commit this. Try test build before commit and push. We don't really need to actually push it. I'm gonna commit it for now. Gonna check out main. I'm gonna make a new branch from main. Which is going to be some actions test actions bundle build test. No. Let's do it the full way here. We'll test. I'm gonna merge this one that we were working on to it so that we get the new code. And then I am gonna I think just take this whole thing and change it to be a on push. So I was pushing to testing fixes, but that was just running the tests. Does something limit this to the branch? Okay, so maybe those only go on default branches, which the one I just created won't be. Still though, I really don't want them to execute at all. I think I'm gonna delete all of these or move them elsewhere. Oh. Move directory from... I sometimes wish I could just copy paste more normally. Okay, so we have real workflows there. We're gonna make fake workflows here. It's not a Python package. Workflows. How's it going, Mark Gambler? And then I'm just gonna do test bundle build YAML. I could make my right click not do multiple things in half a microsecond. Test bundle build YAML. Yes. I want basically this one, except instead of cron, we're gonna be more like this. I don't know what all of that stuff means, truthfully, but if you ever need a 2-minute brain break, I have a question about doc strings in the core, but no rush. Yeah, feel free to shoot. I know some stuff about doc strings in the core, but not a whole lot, I would say. But I do know some stuff. And yeah, I'd say feel free to ask anytime. You can always, I'm always down for a bit of a detour. Oh, okay. Truthfully, though, we don't want all of this. We want back. We wanted to be back on the main one, which is going to be really hard to do now because all that stuff's gone. I just compare a folder with main, then what? Yeah, I mean, this is what I want. But still tracking that as interesting. Okay. So we want to keep that, but we do want to get rid of this. Excuse me. I also do not have a mute button. Okay, so on push, it should execute this, which is going to call Adabot CircuitPython bundle. Okay, and then one more thing we want to do for sure on this branch, because we definitely don't want to be pushing or anything like that. We want to go in here. Wait, what? Okay, I built this from, or I checked it out from main. I made the branch from main. Didn't we merge? I thought we merged from the working branch to this. Oh dear. What is going on? Okay, so a few things. Why does none of these show commits except for this one? Oh boy, what have we done here? It's gone. I committed it. Was I in the merge one? Wish I could see the whole branch name. Test push beef merge. I was in the merge one. Okay. Okay. So we want to go back to this. And we want to basically pair with this. That didn't really give me what I want anyway, though, because I want the arrows, ideally. Okay, now we have all the code. So, but what we want to do is not do any of this. So we don't want to make any commits, we don't want to make any pushes, we don't want to make any releases. We just want to fetch the bundle, update the bundle, which means update it locally inside the context where this code's running, test the build, and that's it for now. So if all of that succeeds, then this action will succeed. And if any of that fails, then this action will fail, I believe. Long story short, darks are not building because I have delay. Block input equals 5, but block input comes from another module. There's a type thinking maybe Wi-Fi IP has a similar problem. Go poke at that. Got it. I'll just have to press it. Oh, there you go. Yeah. With the module that it comes from. Nice. So that, I feel like that should be pretty much what we want here. So this branch will help us test this change to the Python code, specifically that change to the Python code, without any risk of actually committing or pushing. This will give us the ability to just run it when we push our code change here, not push the bundles, but just push our Adabot code change. It will run this, which will test our code for us. And I am actually going to commit and push, and I am going to push this to Adafruit remote instead of my own, because it needs to be under Adafruit in order to actually run and do the actions and have all the stuff it needs. Strangely thinks that it got taken from the tests file, even though it didn't really, but that's fine, I think. Maybe because it starts with tests? Just gonna double check here that we don't. Because I want to make absolutely sure we're not going to be committing or pushing, and then that should just be build tools. Redis. That's the thing that came from main, I think. Did it push? Okay, that's weird. Usually it will pop up a thing here. Huh. I wonder why that's not working. Alright, while that's running, I will be right back. One thing I just thought, as compared to the actions way, this is actually nicer because we're inside the for loop. And I mean, we commented these out, but in the real one, those will actually be there. And that means that any bundle that succeeds will get committed and pushed and released, but any bundle that fails won't. So if one bundle is okay and the other one is not, then it will still build the one that is okay. And well, it will still build and commit and push it, which the actions way how this branch was when I sat down and the way it is in the PR still is not like that. How come I can't go into there? That's weird. Oh, I'm not signed in. Can't view logs if you're not signed in. One of these days I might sign in. Really not all that much to see anyway, is there? I don't know why we're not getting any output. Usually this would print a bunch of stuff while it's working, I thought. I don't know if it maybe this warning actually stopped it. Doesn't like that so much. No, oh. Hmm. That's weird. I mean, it will take it a while to run because it is going to do the Adafruit bundle and the community bundle. So it's got a lot of libraries to work on. Probably, I think it's like 350-ish or something in the Adafruit and 170 or 80 in the community. And excuse me, and it also builds each bundle multiple times because it builds for, so like when there's two versions of MPY, which there is currently. Oh, interesting. It is going to print out. I wonder what was all that time before. I don't know. That's weird. What was I saying? Oh yeah. So when there's multiple versions of MPY that are sorted, I was too slow on the highlight there, but like right now we are supporting 8.x and 9.x MPY versions, so it builds both of those as MPY. It also builds one that's just plain text Python, and then it also goes and builds an examples bundle, and it builds a JSON thing as well, I believe, builds a couple other things. So not only are there, you know, probably somewhere over 500 libraries to build in zip, we got to do each of them 3 or 4 times. Well, 3 times on the libraries plus the examples separately. Do the examples get MPY crossed? No, I don't think so. That wouldn't make any sense. Okay, and then if this does succeed, the next test will be trying to make it fail, which I think I did. Leave that in the comment. Yeah. So the way I made it fail before was basically put an extra file inside of one of those libraries. One thing I did find is if the library uses a pyproject.toml, then the extra file won't actually break the build. But for ones that do not have a pyproject.toml, it will. I don't know about setup.py because that's kind of the older option as well. That one may or may not break the build, I'm not sure. All right, we can't see that from here. All right, we're on to community. Can't keep up. Oh, just doesn't want me to keep up, I guess. Yeah, can we auto scroll or? All right, we got a check there, so I think we should be good. Okay. That worked. Sweet. So, in order to test if it failed, we will basically just take... In fact, we can just put it in the action. I was thinking we'll need to do that from Python code, but that's not the case, actually. We can just put it in the action same way it was here. Can we? No, we can't, because that doesn't exist when the action runs. Okay, we need to put it in the code. I am going to copy it, and... Boy, how are we going to do this? Let's say if it is the community bundle that we're working on, then well, we're not seated inside of it yet. Helpers, and then Piper, Blockley, and then whatever, it doesn't really matter. Okay. We still don't have commits or pushes, but we should fail this time on the community bundle build, which should make the action fail. And now, if it were the real Adabot with these uncommented, I believe we would still end up in a state where we have already committed and pushed the updates to the Adafruit bundle, because it goes first because this is a list and it comes first in the list. So if the community bundle was the one that had the problem, the Adafruit bundle would get updated, test builded, committed, pushed, released. Then the community bundle would fail to build, so it would not get committed, pushed, released. The runtime error would get raised, and so that actions task will fail, but the Adafruit bundle would have actually been updated. So that's maybe one thing to ask about, is if that is the behavior we want or not. Because it does feel slightly awkward if the action fails, but one of the bundles has still been committed and pushed. But I don't really see how we avoid that, truthfully. The only way we could avoid that is by removing this from the loop and storing the success state of each one. And then if all of them succeeded, then we need to loop back through them again and commit, push, release. But with only a single loop, I don't think we have a way to make it so that only one updates, pushes and commits. But I do still think that's better, that it does commit and push. The next thing would be, though, is like, we would want some kind of warning, hopefully, on the action. Maybe we can get the action, if it fails, to put a comment in the Discord or something. I mean, that should be possible. There's definitely a GitHub bot that's like pasting issues and comments and stuff in there. So maybe we can get it to, like, if that action fails, also paste in the CircuitPython dev Discord? I don't know for sure how that actual... I don't know how that actually works inside the Discord currently, or if it's an option to make it be in reaction to a workflow failure instead of in reaction to like a new comment. I mean, it probably is. I don't know why. I don't know what it's doing during this part of it. I guess it's fetching, right? It's probably fetching, and it seems like the fetching doesn't put any output out, because it's got to fetch. Well, it's got to, like, first it's got to clone each bundle, then it's got to go through and actually update every submodule. Yeah, that's probably what it's doing. It might be nice to add a few prints. I mean, usually there's nobody sitting here watching the log. Usually this is like a check in on it after the fact type log, but we are in the less usual, the less typical position of sitting here watching it live. As riveting as it is. Uh-oh. Hmm. Okay, this must be wrong. Because the test got moved inside the if, and the test is what prints all the output that I was looking for, which we never saw. So in this case, we just cloned the bundles, fetched them, and updated them, and that's it. Okay, so bundled there is probably wrong. Yeah, because it gets joined here. We could check this instead, actually. Although, it'd be kind of nice to use this one here. All right, now we wait again. I wonder if there's like, is there some way you can cache the files from an actions run and then reuse them? It'd be nice to do the clone and the fetch and the update and then just cache the results and use them the rest of the time that I want to do any tests. I mean, you wouldn't use it in any real situation, but it would be nice here to not have to wait for that. Of course, because we're changing it now with this thing, if it works, it's kind of nice to start fresh each time too, so that we know we're in a known state. So if we were keeping the files, we'd have to like go back and delete this somehow after it failed in order for it to be able to succeed the next time. Although if you got to declare the snapshot, we could just do the snapshot like after the update and before anything else. And then we could like work from that snapshot. That would be interesting. Probably it could be zipped and uploaded somewhere, but I don't know how or where. Something like that CircuitPython, yeah. There is something like that. CircuitPython uses it to cache download stuff. Let's see how much I can find out about it while we're waiting on that. Let me use the other browser. No, we don't really want that. GitHub Actions, cache, files, actions cache. Hmm. So it looks to me like this one will run. If it is successful, then it will cache the output of the prime number thing, I guess, under that key. And then if we did not use the cache, if we don't have any cache data, then we generate the primes and we store them there. So then I guess this do that somehow. It feels like this should come after this, right? Because how can we cache them if we haven't generated them yet? I don't know, maybe there's some async going on here, or maybe this thing somehow gets to operate out of turn. And when you generate them, they also kind of reach back here and get cached. I'm not sure. But it seems like it checks if it did not come from the cache, then we generate them. And finally, at the end, we're going to go and use them for something. But the next time it runs, presumably they would come from the cache. That would be true. We would not generate them, but we would still be able to use them. So for us, that would be basically cache the, zip up the bundles directory, maybe even the directory above the bundles directory. So we have a directory that contains both of the bundles in it. We could take that, cache it, and then do a similar thing where it's like, of course, one issue we have is that, I don't know if it would be an issue for sure or not, since I don't really know how this works, but we are not generating the stuff we want to cache from the actions, really, right? We're generating it from the Python code. I mean, this is generating it from a shell script, so I suppose it's similar. I don't know how those would interact for sure. It might be trickier. We might need to like GitHub API from inside the Python code, something, I'm not sure. Minutes. It should be getting close to moving on or finishing if we still don't have the logic right. I'm glad it hides these. Is there... Can we look inside of fetch? Okay. Yeah, it might be nice to like print some stuff in here. Even if we just print like at the beginning of this, like about to fetch bundle at path or whatever. So you would at least be able to see some kind of progress. Oh. Oh. Okay. So good news is we made it to our code that breaks the build. Bad news is it broke the build in a different way. Well, it didn't really break the build. It broke the Adabot before it even tried to build. So bundles, community bundle, libraries, helpers. The file doesn't write. Yeah, no, it's not going to exist. We're trying to create it. I think I forgot a W, right? Starts with a W. Yeah. This needs to be right. It wouldn't have let us write anyway, but if we give it right, I think it should create the file for us, which means we do pretty much have to wait again for all the fetching. It's unfortunate, but such is life. Maybe let's take a closer look also while we're here. We're going to join. So the join worked though, right? The join said bundles, community bundle, libraries, helpers, Piper, Blockly, which is correct. Community bundle, libraries, helpers, Piper. Yeah, I think that's the only thing that made it fail this time. Right, mode on file. We go again. So I will be right back again. All right. Wait for the fetchy thing. It's not want to unfold for some reason. Interesting. I wonder what this warning is about. 179? But it's got the Pylon thing on it. I'm surprised it... I don't really know what's raising the... So I think these end up in... like this thing? Okay, that's super weird that this one doesn't have it. I don't know. Why do we want this here, I wonder? Is it like that in the Adafruit one? I mean, yes, because that's the code that builds it, right? What? It's not because it doesn't have docs. Doesn't that one have docs? Hmm. I don't know though. This does seem specific to the Adafruit one, which I guess that makes it make sense, right? Because it's just going to be empty. It's just going to return empty list if not. But if docslink, I guess none of those have docslink. Not sure how that works, but I guess all of those are false on it. So that's going inside the README, looking at the first 10 lines, trying to find if the word target is in the line and the word read the docs is in the line. So is that not the case for the official libraries anymore? I see this as a file. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Oh. Right. I think at some point these changed, I think, to be this thing. Because I think before they did actually have read the docs. Okay, well, we solved that mystery. That returns false because that line doesn't contain read the docs. Contains target, but not read the docs. Theoretically, we could swap that, or I guess add... Probably what we would want is like, if target is in there and... Okay, that is not what we want. If target is in there and read the docs is in there, or CircuitPython.org, docs.circuitpython.org is in there. We'd have an or on the right half of the and then that should cover both bundles. Yeah. Yeah, totally. So it used to be read the docs, and then we got the vanity URL or whatever, or I guess it just changed, or the vanity URL now is hosted under CircuitPython.org instead of hosted under readthedocs.io. So it always was like kind of vanity because it has the subdomain there, but now it's like completely in control of CircuitPython.org rather than in control of readthedocs.io. I mean, it just redirects anyway, ultimately, I think, but... Okay, let's make an issue for that so that I don't forget it. So that's... Where is that at? Where does that problem ultimately lie? That is in the... Is that in Adabot or is that in build tool? It's in Adabot, right? Yeah, because it's common funcs get docs link. I need to be in the one I'm signed in. Oh. Why is it green? Oh, it it succeeded, but it succeeded instead of failing. I mean, it failed, but then it succeeded. Our making it fail succeeded, but the task also succeeded. That's weird. Uh, um, hmm. I mean, well, I get, well, but we're catching the runtime error. Yeah, we're catching the runtime error. We need to not do that, or else we need to raise a different kind of error. To be fair, though, like, why are we catching the runtime error? Shouldn't we just let it raise? Wait, hold on. Where does this come from? Okay, right there. It feels dangerous to just re-raise it. Hello, how are you doing? I'm doing pretty good. How are you over on Twitch there? C Films? I mean, my gut instinct is this should really get should not just get consumed, right? It shouldn't just get caught and then print and then nothing. It should bubble up because we want the. I mean, it has to bubble up if we want the action to fail, which we do. It is. Well, yeah, okay. So our problem before though was that this succeeded even when the build failed, and so then what happened is the next time it tried to build is when it failed, which is not when this thing runs. At least in the past it wasn't, because it didn't do the test build here. I don't remember exactly when it ended up doing the test build finally and failing. I'm doing great. Nice. That's good to hear. I mean, I feel like that should just get re-raised. I have no idea if we're gonna completely wreck something else by doing that, but I mean, well, okay, we can search for this, right? I mean, it only runs twice. It only failed once, so it shouldn't be on any other occasion, I guess, but tough to say. Let runtime error get raised. All right, I got a good feeling about this one. We do have to wait for a while, though. And I do want to go back and make that issue so that I don't forget, which I just came close to doing. So let's do that before I forget. Docs link is, let's say, is omitted from library list MD files or Adafruit bundle. Guess we could link the pretty one. So that was in common funcs. Where is that? Oh, it's in Adabot, first of all. Oh, hey, these are showing up now. That's cool. Common funcs? Loop? Common funcs. What was it in? It was in something about links? Only 2 matches. The link. Blinka. Doc link. Docs link. They're still in the part where this doesn't click. Not sure when that changes. I guess when it prints more stuff. Let's see. While that's running, let's Oh, yes. So these things still ran and were green afterwards. I don't think that matters. Well, some of them did at least. But now we have the actual exception. You can even see the whole stack trace all the way back. Well, which in our case ultimately just leads to the one we raised. Theoretically, you'd actually need to scroll through here to find the real root cause. Why can will it scroll me to there? Yeah, there we go. So, build library. So there's, in this case, like the actual error that tells you what went wrong is a little bit just stuffed in the middle of this giant output, but you could maybe search for like, well, if you knew what the error was going to be, you could search for it, I guess, but it's not necessarily the easiest. It might be good if we would prepend like build error or something. That way you could search on build error and you would always find it no matter what the different errors are. Okay, I think this is how we want it to behave. So it will make the action fail if any of the bundles fail, but the bundles that do succeed will still be committed and pushed. So in a scenario where a community bundle has an update that breaks the build, the Adafruit bundle still gonna update, still gonna commit, still gonna push. The community bundle then tries, updates, builds, fails, bails out with the exception. That causes the task to fail, which then hopefully somebody notices. And all the while, the Adafruit bundle is continually still going to get updated every day, even if nobody notices, the Adafruit bundle is going to keep doing its thing, which potentially makes it harder to notice, but is also good because it means that we're not breaking the main bundle. Okay, so that is working. We don't really need this code because the only point of this is to cause it to fail, which we don't want to do for realsies. Then we want to put all this back, but even before I even do that, I am just going to delete this so that way we can never accidentally push when this is going to run while this code is uncommented. In fact, I might not even push this one. How's it going, Adabot over on Twitch? Okay, so we want to be super careful now to not run this anymore. And so how are we going to get this back? So I think the easiest way to get this back is just going to be to copy this file elsewhere temporarily, then switch back to the branch that the PR is on, paste this file in to the one in the branch, and also revert the changes to bundle cron if I didn't already, which I might have, but we might have been on that merge branch. I think we were on the merge branch. So I'm going to take that and drop it randomly in device workspace. And then I am going to switch back to the PR one, which is, I believe, this. Okay, hold on. Don't check out. I am going to commit but not push this. Is basically just taking out the part that breaks it, turning back on the part that commits and pushes, and getting rid of the new lines. And that's the only change here. So I'm going to commit but not push this. Re-enable commit and push. Remove purposeful failure. Commit. Okay. We are going back to this. Yeah, 378. That's the one the PR is on. We have bundle here. We're going to take that. Like that. And then we're going to go to here. We do have tests, so I'm going to compare back to main this file. As soon as I remember where it's at. Okay, so there also were some other changes from main in the interim here as well. We might even want to just merge main. I mean, this will get us a lot of the changes. There are a lot of other changes still, though. This file in particular, I think we'll have a problem with, right? Because we still have Redis version. Maybe not. We don't actually have Redis version, okay. I guess because I got an updated... Yeah, I guess it's because I got an updated one. And then what I did is I didn't do the file. Did I? Okay, here we go. Okay, so compared to main, my differences here are context lib, build tool, test build bundle method, use the test build bundle method. Oh, we want to turn, we don't want this. We definitely don't want this. And raisey. Okay, so that's basically my only changes from main. That's actually, I think that's actually what we want. We definitely do not want this if statement here. That was only for the breaking stuff. We don't want that. Okay, so this is revert bundle cron to match main. And it is also update CircuitPython bundle with changes from main and add test build bundle logic. And remove incorrect if statement. Unneeded? It's not really incorrect, it's just unneeded. It was correct for what it was intended for. Got an empty line. Is there a pre-commit in this thing? There is. We should run pre-commit. Pre-commit. Commit. Oh, tried to rerun it too fast. Function is missing docstring. All right, so this attempts to build the attempts to build the bundle at the given location. Returns exit code 0. Is that a return? I don't know if that's a return or not technically, but I'm gonna keep it because it's like conceptually what it's doing. It returns exit code 0 if successful. Returns exit code greater than 0 if failed to build. Okay, and then this, consider adding re-raising. Consider explicitly re-raising using raise runtime. Raise missing from, raise from, raise E, raise. Why? Consider explicitly re-raising. So it doesn't really make that much sense to me to re-raise with this message, because this message is only for the error when this code is greater than 0, or not 0, I should say. and it does come out to here, but theoretically there could be other causes of this, right? Like we could have failed to update, or we could have failed to commit, or we could have failed to push, or we could have failed to create the release. I don't know what it will do, but I guess I'm tempted to do this. I don't know that we need to print it and raise it. It should, like, theoretically, hopefully that's going to print both messages. I'm not really sure. It's not the right line. Oh. Ooh. Okay. So it does help if you read the error message and actually, like, comprehend it, maybe. I still am not entirely sure I understand what difference that makes, but it does make sense. Do it on that line where it's actually saying it had the problem. And then this one, I guess, because we're raising E already, instead of creating a new error, it doesn't flag the same pilot thing, so. Allow, was this in a prior commit? I don't know. Allow runtime error to be raised. Okay, I think we can commit and push this one now. That is Foamy Guy instead of Adafruit, and it is the branch. It is the branch that PR is against. But it does still have merge conflicts. I should have merged main. Should have just merged main. I have a sinking feeling if I just merge it now, it's gonna, like, break a bunch of stuff. Okay, so we will have to do this. Presumably there will be an actual conflict somewhere. Probably at the end. I'll say this this merging thing here is like a savior in my life. Without this thing, I'd be really very lost in Git, honestly. Git merges specifically. Yeah, so this was really the only conflicting part, which was that I added Ray Z one line before this was trying to do finally. Okay, we don't really need to do anything with this. And then we do need to do all of that again, though. Luckily, there wasn't that much. And luckily, this thing makes it super duper easy to tell what's going on. Okay, so that does not count as like a new commit, but it's instead just merging these commits. Had the Discord a little scrunched today, didn't we? Oh, this can take a while. I'm not gonna wait on this. I don't know if it's hitting the, I mean, I don't think it's hitting the rate limit of 5,000 in the hour. I could be wrong. But I almost feel like this test might wait for an hour randomly. Well, I mean, it wouldn't be random, but this is green already. I wonder if we... No, okay. Sometimes GitHub just gets confused about the status. Yeah, I've seen this. I ran this locally a couple of times, and I had it do this, where it got, like, a lot of the way done, but then it just, like... took forever. I don't even think I let it finish when it ran locally. But I do think in the actions it does eventually finish. And I do know there's some logic in there that's like, if you have run out of your rate limit requests, then wait for an hour. Or wait until the top of the hour. And then go again, start doing stuff again. But I don't know if that's where it's actually stopping at, or if there's something else in the test that takes a while, or what. But anyway, I'm gonna leave a comment here, and then I think we're gonna wrap it up for the day. Yeah, so I was gonna say we should not have any changes in the actions anymore. You know, I guess maybe had to is not. Okay, so we raise the runtime error. Actually, if the Adafruit bundle fails, then I don't think the community bundle will get built or updated. Excuse me. think that's everything we need. All right, and I am going to wrap it up for now. So thank you to everyone for watching. I should be back at the normal time next week, Saturday morning, 10 a.m. Central Time. Thanks to everyone in the chats, and I hope everyone has a good rest of your day and a good weekend. I will see you later. Stretch it out. All right, there we go.